Hi friends, welcome to JSON tutorial. Today we are going to discuss everything about JSON. Let us start. JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation. There are many advantages with JSON when compared to XML. Just like XML, JSON is also a text format for data interchange. And when compared to XML, JSON is very easy to read and write. It is human readable. And also JSON is lightweight, whereas XML contains so much of metadata. This is a unnecessary button while you transferring the data. With JSON, as it is lightweight, it is very fast in the network. Just like XML, JSON is language independent. As you know, nowadays, suppose if you developed some application in .NET and if you want send data to some application which is developed in Java, with JSON it is very easy because it is language independent. And also the main advantage of JSON is, as you already know, nowadays everyone is using web API. And so now, while getting the data from the server or from the database, here you need to convert the output into JavaScript object. As JSON, it is by default, it's just like JavaScript object. The parsing is very fast. Whereas with XML, it will take so much of time and also it consumes so much of memory. Now, coming to the JSON syntax, not like XML, JSON syntax is very easy. Just you need to remember four syntax rules. The first one is data is in name and value pair. As shown here, this is the you need to provide what is the name and what is the value. Here we have list of students and each student has name. Here this is the name and his name is the value. And here age is the name and his age is the value. And here gender is the name and here the value is male. Like that, email is the name and his email ID is the value. And the next rule is data is separated by commas. As shown here, this name and value pair must be end with a comma. Then you need to start with the next name and value pair. And the third one is curly braces hold objects. Here if you observe we have list of students and this is one object. This is the starting curly braces and this is the ending curly braces. This is single object. Every object must be inside a curly brace. And square braces holds arrays. Here, as we mentioned earlier, here we have three students. This is a array, and every array must be inside a square bracket. As shown here, we have the starting square bracket and this is the ending square bracket. Now we will see how to read a JSON object in HTML. To save the time, I already wrote this. Here, just we are going to read a JSON object. As mentioned previously, see the student object. Here we have single student and this is the JSON. As mentioned previously, this is the name and this is the value. And this is the name and this is the value and it is separated by a comma. And as mentioned previously, this is a single JSON object and it should be inside a curly braces. That's why this is the starting curly brace and this is the ending curly braces and this is a single JSON object. This is the student object. And the main thing is to display any JSON data, first you need to pass it into the JavaScript object. For this, by default, we have a JSON.pass. This is the JSON.pass. It will automatically convert any JSON object into JavaScript object. Just you need to provide the input. Here the student is the JSON and it will automatically convert it to the JSON object. Then to display the data, just you need to use the JavaScript object dot the name parameter. Here the name or age or gender or email. Just for the demo purpose, I used name and just I concatenated with the age. JavaScript object dot age. And just I saved it and I will run it. If you observe, we have mark comma 21. Here the name is Mark and age is 21. Just I will change it to email Here, this is the email. Just I will save it and I will refresh it. If you observe, we have the name and this is the email ID. Next, we will see how to read JSON array. See the students. Previously, we have only single student object. Now we have list of students. That's why we have students object here, and we have array, list of array. Here, this is the first student, and this is the second student, and this is the third student. We have array list here. Here also same, just you need to pass it to the JavaScript object. Then here just you need to use the index. Here index will be started from the 0. Here the first for the first one it will be started with 0 and this is the 1 and the for the third one the index will be 2. Just here the third one the name is Cindy and the age is 23, and for that you need to JavaScript object. The index is 2 dot name and comma JavaScript object of 2 dot age. Just I will save it and I will open the page. If you observe Cindy comma 23, just I will change it to 1 and here I will change it to 1. Now I saved it. If the index is 1 means this is the second object. Here the name will be Patrick and the age will be 22. Just I will refresh. If you observe the Patrick and 22. Not only that, the main thing is most of the time while filling HTML phase, suppose you are going to fill some student information, then it converts the student information to JavaScript object. Then you need to convert that JavaScript object to JSON object, because while sending it to the server, suppose you want to send it to some .NET or Java or PHP web API, then first you need to convert the JavaScript object to JSON object. For this you need to use JSON.stringify. Here if you observe we have student object and this is a JavaScript object. Here if you observe for the name we don't have any double quotes. For JSON we need to have a double quotes. This is a pure JavaScript object. For converting this, just you need to use JSON.stringify and you need to provide the JavaScript object. Then it will convert this JavaScript object to JSON object. Then you can send it to any web API. Here we are going to just display it. Now I will open the browser, and if you observe here we have name as just it's there are no double quotes, but in the output we have the name as double quotes and its complete thing is a JSON output. And JSON will support only 6 types of data types. The first one is string. As we previously seen, the name is a string value, and it will also support number. The age you can provide like 28 or marks, some marks it can be a number, and it will support object. Previously, as we discussed with the curly brace, this is the starting and this is the ending. This is one single object. And also it will support array. As we previously discussed, square brackets it will contain array objects. And it will also support boolean, true or false. Suppose delivered, it contains true, or he passed the exam or not, passed, fail, or in those cases you can use boolean. And also it will support null. If we don't provide any value, then you can mention null. Okay friends, today we discussed everything related to JSON. Thanks for watching the video. Please like, subscribe and click on the bell icon for more videos. Thank you.